Food is the natural fuel that keeps us moving, breathing, and our heart beating. We cannot live without it. Lately, we have been hearing more about therapeutic fasting or interval starvation. What would happen if we give up food for a few days? Would it be useful or harmful? The answer is complicated, and some of the processes that occur when we fast can have unexpected outcomes. However, some processes can be beneficial and remain with us for good. Despite this complexity, it is important to understand the potential effects of fasting on our bodies. In this video, we will answer how to make sense of it all, while some things may be bad for us. Watch it all the way to the end, as it will be interesting and useful. By the way, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell, so you don't miss any new content. Let's imagine that we have suddenly given up food and are not eating anything. What will happen in our body? On day 1, our body will actively use energy. Glycogen, a specialized molecule made up of 1 gram of glucose mixed with 4 grams of water, is primarily stored in reserves in our liver and muscles. On average, the adult body has about 400 grams of glycogen, but this amount can vary greatly depending on how active one is in sports. An active athlete's muscles can hold up to 1 kilogram of glycogen, in addition to the amount stored in the liver. Nonetheless, these reserves are generally sufficient for about 1 day. I have to say that glycogen is the most readily available source of energy that the body uses first during a day of hunger strike. As long as we're using glycogen, we won't experience any significant moral suffering or weakness of discomfort. Of course, we may have an unaccustomed belly, but it doesn't have much effect on our intellectual and physical performance yet. So, using glycogen as an energy source doesn't have a great impact on our overall well-being. On the second day, after the first day, we may notice a decrease in our ability to work and in our thinking skills. This is due to the exhaustion of our glycogen reserves, which are the most readily available energy in our body. As a result, our body starts to switch to the use of fat depots, leading to absolute starvation. However, for the time being, there's no significant threat to our health. In fact, our feeling of hunger also begins to fall, and we may even have a little bit less energy and a little bit more desire to go for a run. On the third day of our hunger strike, we start to notice a decrease in our strong sense of hunger. This is a natural response that our bodies have evolved to cope with when we don't have enough food. Our brain sends a signal of intense hunger, urging us to find something to eat or else we will die. However, after waiting out the first 3 days, our bodies seem to recognize that there is no food available. It's like our body realizes that it's hunger time and starts to adjust accordingly. This evolutionary mechanism has been ingrained in us by nature since the first days we didn't have enough to eat. There's no point in torturing yourself with unnecessary hunger, so there's no point in eating when there's still no food. Hunger occurs after the body has exhausted its glycogen reserves and starts to use the most available fat cells. This catabolic process is where energy decomposition begins, and our muscular tissue mass and body mass continue to rapidly drop. Along with fat, we also lose muscle mass, and that's when the body starts to produce a feeling of hunger. Ketone bodies, also known as ketosis, are famous for being actively produced when the body uses fat tissue to provide energy. If someone goes for a test on the 4th or 5th day, the ketone bodies in their blood will be significantly high. Some people see this as a positive signal that their hunger strike is working and they are burning fat. However, high levels of ketone bodies can also be detrimental to the body's health. Therefore, it is important to be cautious about the effects of ketosis. After a few days of fasting, some people experience a decrease in their blood pressure. As a result, they may not have the strength or concentration to do anything and may even faint. One of my acquaintances tried starvation for a week and admitted that one of the biggest mistakes he made was driving a car during that time. Luckily, there was no accident, but he quickly realized that he should have stayed in his room. After somehow managing to cope with slight weakness and defocus, I got behind the wheel only to realize that I couldn't concentrate on driving at all. I don't even know where I am and it's dangerous to be on the road in this condition. To address this, we will observe a person who hasn't eaten any food for 7 days. After this, the body will have depleted its glycogen and fat cells will be easily accessible. After a week, the body begins to use available muscle cells as a source of nutrition, even resorting to consuming tissue and vital organs like the liver and heart. While this may sound creepy, the severity of the situation depends on the individual's starting energy reserves in the form of fat and muscle. If someone has a significant amount of energy stored, getting through the first week may be relatively easy. However, if the person is skinny to begin with, they may experience problems as early as the second week. As weeks 3 and 4 progress, the symptoms worsen. As starvation worsens, the person's health deteriorates considerably. Noticeable muscle atrophy will worsen, causing the person to clearly weaken and experience difficulties with their musculoskeletal system. Even their heart rate may slow down, according to subjective sensations. The starving person will feel very cold and as if time freezes, as well as experiencing severe problems with concentration. What was initially just flowers may even begin to seem like a serious issue. A person who has been on a hunger strike for over 6 weeks is at serious risk of losing their life. This is due to a thiamine deficiency, also known as vitamin B1, which can cause double vision, dizziness, and ultimately vision loss. After a month of starvation, the person may become unconscious and be unable to react to their surroundings. In most cases, the person will not survive beyond this point. If a person uses up all their vitamins and minerals, they can develop scurvy or jaundice. At this point, some people may even lose their eyesight or go deaf. After 6 weeks of starvation, the person may die from either heart disease or excessive intoxication, which is quite frightening. Therefore, fasting for several weeks at a time is not recommended nor necessary. However, short sessions of fasting for more than 1 day can be done safely and may even have some benefits. It is important to have a reasonable approach to everything and know the measure for the body. It is crucial to listen to your condition and never go to extremes in any aspect.